Hey, good morning. So this video is to share my voting experience. So yesterday was the primary election in the state of Michigan. Yes, I live in Michigan. So, I decided that my daughter and we should go see what voting in a US election is all about. So, we got our voters registration card ready. That was sent to us in the mail. We ensured that we signed it, right? It had some perforated sections that we weren't sure if they were to be taken off. Anyway, when we got to the polling station, which is like 2 minutes away, before we got there was a little argument on who should drive and whose car should be driven. Anyway, because I'm the one asking my daughter to come vote, I had to drive. So long and short, I had to get in my car and we drove to the polling station, which, as I said before, was like 2 minutes away. So when we got there, we got out the car, we went in. There was some, it's set up similar to how, you would in, you would see people at a desk in Jamaica. So when we got there, I took out, I went to the table, she said, she asked me if we knew what polling division we were voting in, and I said, I think it's 4 based on the card. So she said, let me see the card. So I handed her the voters registration card. So she looked at it and she said, oh, it is 4. So she found a card. So I said, do you need to see my ID? She said, oh, not me. So she said, fill out this card. So on the card it had like primary, Democratic primary, Republican primary, and I think independent primary. And at the bottom of the card it had like asking you for your personal details, name, address, and date of birth, and you had to sign it. So I ignored the top part of the card. I ignored the top part of the card which says primary, Democratic primary, Republican primary, and independent primary, and I just filled out the bottom cards with my personal information. So she was like, no, you gotta select one. So one lady said, is this your first time voting? So we said yes. So there was a big thing. Hey, we got a first time voter, yay! So she says like, oh yeah, we have to embarrass you guys like that. I said, okay, no problem. So remember I said I did not indicated on the top part of the card whether Republican, Democratic, or independent, because in my mind I thought that was the ballot. So she said, when I went to the other lady, handed her back the card and my ID, because we had to give that lady the ID, she said, oh, you have to select one. So I was like, in my mind, oh, we vote openly. That was just strange. So I just indicated Democratic primary. So after she checked and ensured that the card was filled out properly, we moved down to the next lady on the table. So she said, oh, we're gonna need a Democratic ballot. So in Jamaica we're used to just a ballot that has whoever is representing that constituency, that is all on it. So we don't have a ballot for JLP and we don't have a ballot for PNP. But I guess, well, to my surprise, it's different here in the US. There is a ballot for Democratic and there is a ballot for Republican. Let me tell you, I don't know if that's how it is on the presidential election. As I said, this is just the primary election, and for those of you who live in the US, every state has their primary elections. It's not all in the same month. For Michigan it was February yesterday, and I guess that is where you basically select the nominees that you wish to run off in the presidential election. So that is where you, from time to time, you'll see on the news, oh, Donald Trump won the South Carolina primary election, or you know, he beat Nikki Haley, da 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 da. So as I said, I don't know if that's how the presidential election ballot will be set up, if you're gonna have a ballot for Democratic and a ballot for the Republican. But as it was yesterday at the primary, clearly there was a separate ballot depending on what you chose on that card. So okay, we were given a Democratic ballot. It was placed in a folder with just the ballot number on the top, and we were given a pen, and there was instructions outside of the folder, and the lady just indicated to us to ensure that we, you know, we shade as best as possible, because basically you're shading. So, you know, just like you're doing a test and you have the question paper and the answer sheet and you got to shade. Yeah, so we had to shade. So, you know, then we went to the little booth and we opened it up. What I should tell you is that in addition to voting for your presidential nominee, we also had to vote on issues based on the city that you live in. So in addition to voting, we also had to vote on those 2 issues. So in my city, there were 2 issues that we had to vote on. One of them was mileage as it relates to school, and one of them was increased funding for community college. So I did my research, because, you know, I love to do my research. So it wasn't strange to see those 2 issues. So I know those 2 issues would have been on the ballot. So as I said, we got to the booth. So on the ballot, it had the names of all the Democratic nominees. To my surprise, I was only expecting to see Joe Biden's name, but there were others. Honestly, I don't remember, because those names were not familiar to me, because basically what is happening out there in the political atmosphere, I just know of Joe Biden being the only Democratic nominee at this point in time. So of course I am going to shade in for Joe Biden. And yes, I did selected yes on those 2 issues that we had to vote on. So after we did all that behind the booth, we had to tear the ballot number off. Then we went to another table where we handed the ballot number to that lady. And then, you know, in Jamaica, the ballots are folded and drop in a little box. No, it's not folded. So it goes into a machine, and, you know, we had to wait until the machine tells us if our ballot has been accepted. So after the ballot has been accepted, then I think that's when we were given a little card that says I voted. So pretty much I must say that I was happy that I went to experience voting in the US for the first time. If the November presidential election is the same, at least I won't be surprised to know that possible I would be only given a ballot for the Democrats. And as you know, in the US, you should be a part of a political party. That's one of the requirements, you know, for those who are naturalized citizens. You know, it's something that you know, it's a part of their civic test, you know, that yeah, you should be affiliated with a political party. So that is why you have people who, they are registered Democrats, they are registered Republican, they are registered Independent. So it's not like you can hide, you know, which party you're affiliated with. I mean, if you go, in our case, even if I didn't want to vote for the Democrats, the mere fact that I indicated on that card, Democratic primary, I am going to be given a Democratic ballot. So in that case, I guess going forward, I don't know. I will let you know how the presidential election goes at that time. So I am happy that I was able to just share my voting experience with you guys, and just remember that I'm also here to assist, you know, people who are having challenges, who don't have the money, you know, to even apply for their citizenship, or even just to start the process of you know, becoming a legal resident here. You know, I'm not expensive, and I work with families, you know, I work with individuals. So, you know, thank you for watching. You know, once again, I ask that you like and subscribe to the video, and, you know, share it, and it's always welcome that you leave a comment. Have a blessed day, my people.